Alright. I'm going to use my box to multiply. Secant x plus 1, secant x minus 1. You should recognize this is called a difference of squares. You'll realize that the middle terms cancel. Multiply these two, you get secant squared x, secant x, negative secant x, and negative 1. So I'm going to combine like terms, so I get secant squared x. These two terms will cancel, and you're just left with minus 1 over sine squared x. Raise your hand if you got that so far. Alright, raise your hand if you got stuck on the next part.
Yeah.
Alright, who didn't get stuck? Yeah.
And the Pythagorean theorem tangent.
The Pythagorean identity?
Identity, yeah.
Which Pythagorean identity?
Tangent squared theta plus 1 minus equals secant squared theta.
And I just change it to x's because that's what we have. Okay.
Oh, x, yeah.
But Ducky, it doesn't look exactly like that. How do you get it like that? Oh, you can change an identity in a slight variation by subtracting 1 from both sides. Oh, he's saying that if I change the Pythagorean identity, then we can do this substitution. Every time I see secant squared x minus 1, we can write what? Tangent squared x. Don't worry, it gets better. We're not done yet. I'm going to separate the sine squared x and the tangent squared x. How do you make this a fraction, class? Why do you think I did that? Because this is going to become what? Okay, so if I use the quotient identity, that'll be what? Sine. Okay, look. It's really sine times sine over cosine times cosine. And that's why I'm going to write sine squared x over cosine squared x. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's tangent times tangent, so it would be sine over cosine, sine over cosine. Looks good, looks good. Now what? We can cancel the sine squared x. We're left with 1 over cosine squared x. And if I use the reciprocal identity, I get secant squared x. And that's our answer. So in this problem, you're going to have to use some algebra. You're going to have to multiply the binomials. Use a variation of the Pythagorean identity. That's the hardest part right here. It wasn't just a straight substitution for the identity. You're going to have to use a variation of that and then simplify.